As in hundreds of other houses in Britain, it is breakfast time in the home of the Jenkins family.
That'll be the postman. Now, there's no need for both of you to go. Sit down, Susan, and finish your breakfast. You know your father won't wait for you if you want to be taken to school.
Thank you.
All yours, Dad.
I don't suppose there's anything interesting. Another rate demand, eh? Well, there's one thing, they don't waste money on envelopes. Good heavens, the rates have gone up again. Must think we're made of money. Whatever they do with it all beats me.
It says on the back, education 5 shillings 7.9 pence. Public health 11.6 pence.
Get on with your breakfast, John, or I'll clear it away.
Care of deprived children 2.6 pence. We had a lesson on this at school. Civics, they call it. Every house and property is valued at its size and situation. This becomes the rateable value. If the rateable value is £40 and the rate of payment is 10 shillings in the pound, then the owner or occupier will have to pay about £20 a year.
Let's leave Mr. Jenkins to worry about the rates demand, his bill for community services, and move some distance up the road to the home of Councillor Brown. Even at this early hour of the day, Mr. Brown is dealing with council business. The 3-year term for which the local council was elected is nearing its end, and Councillor Brown is seeking re-election. He is posting off to the printer his election address to the voters in his ward, and letters to members of his election committee. About the same time, Mr. Jenkins is getting out his car to go to work. Councillor Brown may be lucky enough to get a lift into town.
That's one of the things you pay for on the rates.
Young John is quite right. One of the things the rates help to pay for is the regular collection and disposal of refuse from the house. Yes, that's another public service that has to be paid for. The traffic lights at a busy corner. And of course, yet another. The school, where daughter Susan goes daily for her education. Indeed, in Britain, education makes the heaviest of all demands upon the rates. Councillor Brown is lucky. He is just in time to be picked up by Jenkins at the corner.
Ah, good morning.
Good morning. You must have been up all night writing that lot.
Oh, no. They're mostly calling an election committee meeting. These elections mean a bit of extra work for us candidates.
Yes, I see you're standing for election again. It's time you fellows did something about bringing down the rates instead of putting them up. What do you do with all the money?
Well, I wonder where that was going. There's some of the ratepayers' money invested in that lot. It might only be a chimney on fire, or it might be a big job, the whole house. Can't take any risks. Why don't you come along to one of the election meetings?
What, me? No fear. I've something better to do with my time. You all make promises and you all pretty much alike once you get in. My vote won't make much difference anyway.
All the same, Jenkins would have protested strongly if he had not been allowed to vote. He pays his share of the money the council spend, and he has a right to say how it should be used, together with every other citizen entitled to a vote. Jenkins had never realized before how many different services were provided by the local council with the citizens' money. He began to wonder whether he ought not to accept Brown's challenge and go to an election meeting. Then something happened that decided him to do so. He called at his usual shop to buy some cigarettes. Jenkins was impatient. He was not used to being kept waiting. What was all this about? The shopkeeper told him that it was the public health officer, who called from time to time to take away samples of the ice cream and analyze them to see that they were wholesome. All shops where food is sold are regularly inspected to ensure that thing is kept properly clean. Jenkins wondered whether all this was really necessary. He went to the meeting to give Councillor Brown a piece of his mind.
If re-elected, I will endeavour to serve the interests of the community, and not those of a few self-interested individuals.
Very good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, are there any questions you'd like to ask Councillor Brown? You, sir?
I would like to ask Councillor Brown this. What does the council do with all the money it extorts from the citizens? Apart from interfering with them when they're trying to make an honest living.
Well, that I think is a question that would take too long to answer fully at this meeting. Of course, all regulations involve interference with the freedom of some individuals, but they benefit the community as a whole. The public must be protected against the jerry builder and the adulteration of food. Why are there no more plagues and epidemics as there were in former times? Who attends to the drains and the cleaning of streets, the repairing of roads? Who arranges for the education of the greater proportion of our children? But as I said, it would take a long time to tell you all the things the council does.
Yes, no doubt he's right. But let us take a look at some of them ourselves. It all starts from here. There are 7 departments housed in this town hall. Public health. That seems important. Most of the analysis done in this public health laboratory proves on the whole that the food sold to the public is pure and wholesome. But occasionally, a case of food poisoning is suspected. The doctor, having asked the mother what the child has eaten, decides that this is a case requiring hospital treatment. He arranges for an ambulance to call for the child. He also reports the case to the town's medical officer of health, who arranges for the public health officer to call and collect samples of any food remaining in the house. These are analyzed in the laboratory. That is one way in which the public health is protected. And there are many others. At one time, this stream would have been used as an open drain and would have been the cause of widespread disease. Now the drains are laid underground and the waste products carried swiftly away and dealt with scientifically and efficiently. Clean, fresh water is a human necessity, and the ratepayer can get it as simply as this. Under the roads and streets of the town are miles of pipes carrying water, sewage, gas, electricity, and telephone cables. Knowing where they all are is the job of the engineers department. And these services must constantly expand to keep pace with the increase in population and to serve the new houses that are being built as rapidly as possible, both by the council and by private enterprise. The plans of all houses built within the area have to be passed by the council surveyor. pavements and roads have to be kept in good repair and with as little interruption as possible to the flow of traffic. Rubbish is only matter in the wrong place. Find a suitable place to put it, and it can be very useful. Germs are destroyed by spraying with a disinfectant. As the ground is filled in and leveled off, it is left to settle down, while fresh tips are prepared by removing the topsoil and digging out wide trenches. When the refuse tip has been filled in and grass seed has been sown, it too will become a playing field like this, or this. Or perhaps parkland like this. The local authority employs a trained staff of health visitors to call on people in their homes, particularly old people who may be in need of care and attention. Or the health visitor may hear of a mother who is in need of hospital treatment, but feels that she can't leave her family. There are residential homes where the children will be cared for until she is well again. Skill and care are given to babies in their first few weeks of life if, by mischance, their own mother should be ill. People of all ages can use the public library, and far more books are being borrowed now than a generation ago. The treasures of literature, both of the past and the present, and current magazines and newspapers, are all there for the public to read and enjoy. The local authority maintains an art gallery, where the art of today, as well as of yesterday, may be studied and enjoyed. There are dancing classes for young people. The public swimming bath is popular all the year round, and there is an expert instructor to give confidence to the timid ones. Youngsters are taught road sense, and their bicycles checked for safety. Even Jenkins wasn't shocked when he heard that his son had been in the hands of the police. Indeed, he began to be converted to a sense of civic pride.
And so, when Brown challenged me to say which of these services should be done away with in order to economize, well, put like that, I couldn't say we would drop any of them. You see, when the cost is shared amongst a lot of people, it doesn't amount to much per head. Now Brown's keen on a new street lighting system. But of course, that's going to put something more on the rates.
Goodness, we need something better down this avenue.
You know, I've been thinking we might give Brown a little help in this election.
So Jenkins allowed his front room to be used as a committee room for Councillor Brown. On the day of the election, the committee room is where the helpers meet to find out how things are going. They can check whether people have been to vote, but not, of course, for whom they have voted. The candidate usually pays an early call at the polling station to register his own vote and assure himself that everything is going well. Inside the polling station, the voters collect their ballot papers and register their votes in secret. The ballot boxes are kept locked and sealed until the counting takes place at the end of the day. Meanwhile, canvassers call at the committee room for instructions and a little refreshment. The candidate himself does a good deal of personal canvassing. People like to see the man they are being asked to vote for. He calls from door to door and talks about his policy. At the end of a busy and exciting day, the votes are counted and the result declared. Councillor Brown is among those who have been elected. The council meets once a month. Between these meetings, many requests may have been made by members of the public to their local councillor. The public themselves watch the proceedings from the gallery. The clerk to the council reads the minutes of the previous meeting. It is the business of a councillor to raise any matters of public welfare at the council meeting, and these matters are then referred to the appropriate committee. Indeed, much of the business of the council is dealt with by committees having certain responsibilities, such as library, public health, highways, finance, and so on. A chairman of one of these committees reports their recommendations and proposals. The council now may confirm or reject these proposals, and the question of their cost will be important. It is for the council, elected by the people of the town, to see that the citizens get full value for their money. And the people, too, have a duty to pay their rates and to take an intelligent interest in the way their community is run. In other words, in their local government.
Thank you.
All yours, Dad.
I don't suppose there's anything interesting. Another rate demand, eh? Well, there's one thing, they don't waste money on envelopes. Good heavens, the rates have gone up again. Must think we're made of money. Whatever they do with it all beats me.
It says on the back, education 5 shillings 7.9 pence. Public health 11.6 pence.
Get on with your breakfast, John, or I'll clear it away.
As in hundreds of other houses in Britain, it is breakfast time in the home of the Jenkins family.
That'll be the postman. Now, there's no need for both of you to go. Sit down, Susan, and finish your breakfast. You know your father won't wait for you if you want to be taken to school.
That's one of the things you pay for on the rates.
Young John is quite right. One of the things the rates help to pay for is the regular collection and disposal of refuse from the house. Yes, that's another public service that has to be paid for. Today, Mr. Brown is dealing with council business. The 3-year term for which the local council was elected is nearing its end, and Councillor Brown is seeking re-election. He is posting off to the printer his election address to the voters in his ward, and letters to members of his election committee. About the same time, Mr. Jenkins is getting out his car to go to work. Councillor Brown may be lucky enough to get a lift into town.
Care of deprived children, 2.6 pence. We had a lesson on this at school. Civics, they call it. Every house and property is valued at its size and situation. This becomes the rateable value. If the rateable value is £40 and the rate of payment is 10 shillings in the pound, then the owner or occupier will have to pay about £20 a year.
Let's leave Mr. Jenkins to worry about the rates demand, his bill for community services, and move some distance up the road to the home of Councillor Brown. Even at this early hour of the day,